you guys are watching this. Today's video is again a video that I've been asked about quite a good bit. A lot of it has been on Instagram mostly, but I've gotten a lot of questions on YouTube as well. And that question is, Doulop, what kind of exhaust do you have? Now, unfortunately, for me, it's not a simple answer. I can't just tell you the brand because it's not just that. So when I bought the car in 2009, it just had a stock exhaust with the ZR1 tips that you see on the car now. I've had those tips the entire time. I love them. I don't like the stock C4 tips at all. I love them. But the exhaust was just blah. It didn't sound like a minivan, but it didn't sound like American Muscle either. So the next year, in April, I was doing some searching online. Keep in mind, this was 10 years ago, folks. And a recommended exhaust for a V8 Chevy engine was Flowmaster. And they have different series. They have different aggressiveness, I guess you can say. But the Flowmaster 40 was their aggressive exhaust. So I was like, I'd like to get one of those. Well, to buy them brand new was expensive, and I wasn't about to do that. Well, a good friend of mine who has a shop close by, I told him I was looking for one, and he told me that he actually knew a friend who just took his Flowmaster 40 series off of his Corvette. So I was like, well, heck yeah. So I think, like I said, it's been 10 years. I forget what I paid for it, but I think I spent $80 on it, if I remember correctly. So I took the car. Back then, I didn't do any of this kind of work to my car at all. I just took it to him to do it. But I took it to him, and he installed a Flowmaster 40 series exhaust on my Corvette. I was super excited. I went to pick it up, and he had it backed up against his building so that I could hear it, loud and clear whenever I turned it on. It would echo. So I get in the car and I start it up, and it sounded like, basically it sounded no different. Like I literally had to go in and ask him, did you put the exhaust on? Because it doesn't sound different. He goes, yeah, he said it's on, but I have to agree with you, it doesn't sound that great. So I wasn't too happy about that. I mean, I kept it, of course, I let it on there, but I was trying to think to myself, what can I do to make this exhaust sound even better? So, hold on here, guys. So what I ended up doing was I dropped the exhaust. Now, I didn't take any videos of this back in 2010 because I wasn't making videos back then of me doing everything in my car. But I do have a few pictures that I took back in April of 2010 that I'll put up here as I'm talking. But basically, I took the exhaust completely off the car, which in 1991, I'm not sure what all years had it, but I know 91 has it. They have 3 catalytic converters. And there's 2 in the front, one on each side where it comes off the manifold, and then there's one big one that they Y into. So I took them all down, and I cut the exhaust off. At this time, I actually worked for a welder at Lando Lakes. And I wasn't employed by Lando Lakes, I just worked for a company who did their welding. And so I cut the exhaust off, and let's say we modified the catalytic converters and went to work, and I welded them back on after hours, of course, and put them back on the car. And then the large catalytic converter I also modified as well and put it back on the car, and the exhaust sounded much better, but wasn't quite what I really wanted. My very first love for Corvettes was whenever I took one to prom one year. It was a C5, and it had a billy boat exhaust. If none of you know what billy boat is, it's a very expensive exhaust company, but they're known for like their extreme deep rumbles, and I love a very low idle. So I love that sound. got a cutoff wheel, and I cut the top off of the mufflers, both of them, and I got a brand new metal cutting blade from my Sawzall, and I went to town. I cut out every single baffle inside the exhaust. I didn't realize, I've never had an exhaust open before, I didn't realize how many baffles are inside an exhaust, but there's quite a few. There was probably 7 or 8 of them, I mean, different angles, different shapes, different everything. Circles, I cut them all out flat to the bottom of the muffler, and then I took it and I put the top that I cut off, I put back on top, used some filler wire, and welded it back on top. So the mufflers and the catalytic converters still look completely stock. That's how I was able to get the sound that I have now. I put the exhaust back on, made a huge difference, and I know you guys love it, and I do too. Now, I'm not saying I'm not even close to trying to say that I have the best sounding Corvette that I've ever heard. There's a lot of C4s that I hear on the Facebook page I'm a part of that I get jealous of because I wish mine sounded that good, but for everything that I was able to do to it, that cost me nothing. I'm very happy with the exhaust. Flowmaster 40 series with some modifications done to the catalytic converters, and it is also has the muffler baffles completely cut out. So basically my exhaust is, because of the modifications I've done, it's kind of straight through exhaust. So there's really no restrictions, and I know some people say that's not good. I guess you're supposed to have some kind of a back pressure when you're driving. I don't know how true that is. I'm sure someone on here will have something to say about it. But for all the more I drive the car, I've put 4,000 miles on this since 2014, and this is 2020. It's pretty sad. I hate to admit that, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. And I don't think for all the more I drive it that it's going to be an issue. And one thing that I was very concerned with, that I'm here to tell you in all honesty, it didn't happen, is I was concerned that my oxygen sensors were going to get kicked for the modifications that I did. But nothing got kicked. I've never had a check engine light come on for it. The check engine light does work because it's been on for other things, but it has not come on for that. Of course, someone blew their grass all over the stinking road. Man, I hate that. So because of that exhaust, you get certain sound clips that sound, well, like this. I'm not going to say what speed that was, but I was moving, and it sounds pretty good. You can also get some legit sounds that sound like this. And if you want to do a small burnout with my brand new Nitto tires, which I'm not a big fan of doing because they're brand new, but I did it for you guys, it sounds like this. And one of the things that I love the most about the exhaust is it's hard to get a clip of it because it doesn't pick up very well on camera, but when the car is cold and you take it out and you drive it and you let go of the accelerator, it gets a lot of nice pops and crackles, and I love that sound. It's one of my favorite sounds of all. I know some people don't like the cracks and pops. That's fine. You don't have to. I love it. But another sound that I like is like a drive-by sound. Now keep in mind, I usually drive my car all the time. I usually don't see it being driven. So to see the car being driven down the road in a clip like this, that video right there made my heart really happy. I sent that video to a lot of people because Chevy guys, but they like my car and they like the way it sounds. So I sent it to them, like, wow, that sounds really good. Did you get a new exhaust? I'm like, no, it's the same exhaust I've had for 10 years. But yeah, it does sound really good. I need to do a little bit of a U-turn here, folks, so bear with me. Oh yeah. So I hope you guys know a little bit more now about how my car sounds the way it does. I hope you guys do like the sound of my car. If you don't, I'm not upset. It's my car. You guys don't have to love it. It's fine. But since I've had so many people ask me about it, I figured I would make a video telling you guys about it. So if you did like this video, please do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. If you did not like this video and think the exhaust sucks, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Take care now. See you later.